Lindsay, we are with you and your family. You don't deserve any of this. We see your soul and who you are. I will continue to pray for you so that you can find peace.
It's been a while, but I have to pop on here just to say that I've been following this Lindsay Clancy trial, especially as a mother of two who dealt with a lot of postpartum mental illness. And
this is horrific.
You know, just following all their birth charts and birthdays and zodiac signs. He did it. He did it.
Forensic astrology?
We don't really know. I just put it new. But first of all, so if you're watching the Lindsay Clancy case, I've already gone over.
How do you take these
the
people
forensic
seriously?
astrology charts that show that the perpetrator is a male.
I can't wait for this man to be humbled and for karma to do its thing.
Patrick did it.
Case solved.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
The fact her trial is during Lionsgate. What? This story is absolutely incredible. Guys, I have a collection of clips to add on to the story, which is going to add more fuel to my take. But the TLDR, too long, didn't read. A young woman back in 2023 offed her 3 children one by one and then tried to off herself by jumping from a second-story window. She was not successful in her own demise, but she paralyzed herself permanently. Now, this story already is crazy enough as it is, but what if I told you that it gets worse and worse because the TikTok feminists have gathered together to raise $1 million and more. It's growing each and every day after this woman allegedly has admitted to everything. If we were to reverse the roles, the young man in this that would have offed his entire family not only would have never had a GoFundMe offered for him, but also would be currently in a graveyard underneath a damn jail. Now, as we go over this case, understand that this is not a situation of did she do it? It is a situation of should she get life in jail or life in a psych ward? But through the craziness of the TikTok feminist defending this, finding any way that the husband is guilty in this situation has contributed to the $1 million of a GoFundMe. So we got to get into it. We got to unpack this. I often say on this channel that the world owes you nothing. It owes you no favors, but that's for men. For women, there's an inbred sympathy that you receive irrespective of what it is that you do. And it's a double standard. It is what it is, but pretending like or acting like this doesn't exist is straight up lying. In this case, absolutely proves it. Now, to the source. So here goes the murderer, the child murderer of her own kids, okay? Now, what I want you guys to also look at is that's the GoFundMe right here. That's the GoFundMe, but please read all of these comments. Feel free to pause just so you guys can internalize these damn comments, okay? Lindsay, we are with you and your family. You don't deserve any of this. We see your soul and who you are. I will continue to pray for you so that you can find peace you've been looking for and leave this nightmare behind. We want you free. Free is absolutely, free is insane, baby. You're free? You want her free? If anything, if they can prove psychosis, okay, then mental institution for the rest of her damn life, leave her in there, lock the key in a padded goddamn room. But if they prove that it wasn't psychosis and it was like postpartum depression, lock her in a jail cell, okay? But wanting freedom for this crazed person, for this lunatic, is absolutely insane, but demonstrates the sister code support for bullshit behavior, irrespective of psychosis, but also a fundamental hate for men. And I'm going to prove to you via TikTok how much these women hate men. And much of it goes into her actual GoFundMe support. And I think, and this is going to be another hot take for you, that so many of them can look beyond the actual murder of her children because many of these women have murdered lives inside of their body. But the sympathy that she is receiving is insane. Let's look at some more of these comments. Call it a woman's intuition. Is that what that one just said? I cannot believe it. Yo, if dudes supported dudes the way that women supported women, baby, imagine what we would be able to do. Setting Love from Utah, call it a women's intuition. I never believed for 1 second that Lindsay was a cold-blooded monster. She was failed. Real women see a part of us in her. A murderer. Now, before we go over to TikTok to diagnose these crazed people, let's go over a news report real quick. Last month, my Facebook page alone generated over $13,000. That number is so ridiculous. Why? Because I did absolutely no work in order to achieve that. But I put systems in play to earn that revenue. Now, there's a very important definition here. It's called resting revenue rate. How much money do you earn in a month at rest, not doing a damn thing? Because at least on my Facebook page alone, it's $13,000. Now, what's also crazy about that is I'm not a Facebooker. I'm a YouTuber. Majority of my money comes from YouTube and as well as ad sponsorships. The Facebook stuff is just the icing on the cake. But just the icing on the cake alone, I'm financially independent because it damn sure don't cost me $13,000 a month to live. Come copy my system of how I earn between $50,000 and $100,000 each and every month. Go to viral2value.com to pick up my curriculum and join my community where we also do live calls, Q&As, to answer all of your guys' questions on your content creation journey.
Today, Lindsay Clancy's defense attorney continuing to argue the Massachusetts mother was suffering from postpartum psychosis when she killed her 3 children in 2023. Her former mother-in-law testifying Clancy was a devoted mom who was struggling with her postpartum health. Clancy has admitted to strangling her children, but has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder by reason of insanity, arguing a combination of psychiatric drugs prescribed after the birth of her 3rd child made her postpartum psychosis worse. In court, attorneys reading messages she sent to her mother-in-law. But prosecutors say Clancy planned it all, intending to kill her children and herself. The defense calling on a forensic psychiatrist who did not treat Clancy, but reviewed her medical records and testified her doctors may have missed warning signs.
If found guilty of first-degree murder, Clancy faces a mandatory sentence of life in prison without parole.
Okay. Now, if the court system determines that she's clinically insane, lock her away in a padded room and throw away the goddamn key. We can all agree on that. But calls to free her and $1 million GoFundMe demonstrate how crazy this man-hating society is. And there's so much sympathy being given to her. But what about the husband in this situation? This man in one night lost his entire family and has most of the internet creating conspiracy theories how he is involved and calls to have him tried. Whoever created the AI photo here, but like, bravo. yo, bravo. You are marketer of the damn planet because her in a wheelchair in the middle sobbing with all of these AI women standing in solidarity. And then you go over here, you look at the donations, 3,000 recent donations, all women, to the tune of almost $1 million, and it is climbing each and every minute. And y'all can take a look, pause the video, and read through what it's for, but it's essentially for her entire family. But now let's listen to a forensic scientist describe why she's probably guilty.
Just because stupid people on the internet don't understand something, that doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy theory afoot. I'm a forensic scientist and a former CSI, and if there is one thing that I have learned since posting on TikTok, it's that people on the internet believe everything is a fucking conspiracy. The number of people online who are fully convinced that Lindsay Clancy is innocent and that actually her husband murdered her children is making my mind want to explode. Yeah. She has admitted that she is the one responsible for killing her children, okay? She did it. Saying that she didn't is just as stupid as coming on the internet and saying that Brian Koberger is innocent. He is not. He murdered 4 people. He said out his own mouth that he did in fact murder those people. There are conspiracy theories in every single case that I talk about. Seems like a good time to remind you that everything seems like a conspiracy theory when you don't know what you're talking about. So just because you don't understand the evidence in this case and you don't understand how a mother could murder her 3 children doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just because you can't understand how somebody could stab 4 people so quickly or how he could not have blood in his car doesn't mean he's innocent. It just means you don't know shit about forensic science. It is so gross to come on the internet and pretend that this is a TV show. Fictional shows, fictional books, fictional movies about crime, those have lots of twists and turns and unexpected killers because real life crime is boring. And it's not exciting to make a show about a crime where you know who did it within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And once again, if you think that this case is going to be cracked wide open because of a different color temperature of somebody's shoes on 2 different shitty surveillance videos, you're unwell. You are delusional. And you can tell me I'm arrogant or biased or condescending all you want to, but you guys are nuts. It is so insulting to entertain these conspiracy theories. It is deeply, deeply damaging, not only to Patrick Clancy and the people who know and love him who have to hear you spout your bullshit on the internet. It is deeply, deeply insulting to other mothers who are struggling with postpartum psychosis when you come online and invalidate the terrible things that this woman went through. It is deeply, deeply insulting to the surviving family members of Brian Koberger's victims when you come on the internet and say, I'm just asking questions. Spreading misinformation, giving it 1 second of your time and not calling it out for what it is, or putting even a tiny, tiny bit of gas on a conspiracy theory flame is so damaging for the actual family members, the actual survivors, the actual loved ones in these cases and dozens of other cases. Real people who will never be able to get closure because their loved ones ended their life via suicide, and there are Reddit threads dedicated to proving that their loved one was actually murdered. Real people.
You know what's crazy is that it's majority women. This case has a lot of women's attention because of the alignment with having young children and postpartum depression. But any of these cases that involve men versus women, where man assaulted or there was like domestic violence, in order to try to explain what they do not understand, oftentimes crafting movie storylines in order to make it make sense to them, which often is just more entertaining for them. Some of their minds are a crazy place. Shit, I've had women in my life that will dream about something and wake up and be mad at me because of what happened within the dream, as if my dream actions are to blame for something in reality. But let's finish up.
People who are dealing with terrible grief, and then you have to come and see these delusional people on the internet talking about the color of their shoes. It's so goddamn gross. It is so fucking gross. It's embarrassing. And as somebody actually involved in criminal investigations, it makes me sick.
I didn't know they were allowing cusses on TikTok like that nowadays. But with all of the anti-male rhetoric all across TikTok, that doesn't get taken down, by the way. My TikTok's currently demonetized. It's actually refreshing to see a smart young woman be analytical about the situation and not afraid to call it how she sees it. Because the horrendous first instinct of many of these young women is to defend by any means necessary. But it's not only defend, but it's blame the nearest man possible in this situation. A confession should be enough for the majority of people on the internet. But even that nowadays, oh, he made her do it. Oh, what a piece of shit, man. Give me the bear. Matter of fact, y'all remember that Chris Watts story from back in 2018? This guy offed his entire family, 2 young girls, and his wife so he can be with some mistress. This dude was crazy as all hell. And what also made this story interesting is that they had the police capture him on body camera, like in the moment reacting to them figuring out that he was the damn culprit. But nobody was like, let's support the murderer post-wife psychosis. It's a real thing. It's in the DSM-5. And he's getting the damn sentence that his crazy ass deserves. What's also interesting is it looks like he's got a wife now. Did some 39-year-old realtor named Lizzie Henderson from Cleveland is reportedly trying to get married to him, and that's a picture of her. Y'all sure know how to pick them, huh? But now let's go to the feminist TikTok crazies to find out why apparently she's not guilty.
Her lawyer knows she did it. She knows she did it. She confessed to doing it. And you're a moron if you think that anything else could be possible. Is an absolutely crazy statement. I'm a nurse practitioner who's been a nurse for 16 years, and I've worked as a neuro-ICU nurse for part of that time and as an ER nurse for part of that time as well. I have a lot of experience taking care of patients with psychiatric conditions at this point, and until anybody can provide me with a valid and reliable science-based explanation as to how they ruled out Patrick Clancy in 24 hours, and also how they ruled out confabulation wasn't the reason behind her confession that nobody has a recording of, I'm going to sit here and say with full confidence that it is not logical to think that she is the only person that could have been responsible for these acts. No one has been able to logically explain either of those things. And from a medical standpoint, especially as somebody who worked as an ICU nurse, It is wild to me that we are not being provided with an explanation as to why confabulation is being ruled out when we know that Lindsay had ICU delirium at one point. And we know she had a psychiatric history and just endured a super duper traumatic event. Like, what the heck, guys?
Oh,
Right.
I was gonna say, what does her husband say about this? But I guess we got that answer.
That's the truth.
Confabulation, by the way, is when your brain fills in a gap in your memory with a made-up story. A story that the person will believe is completely true. So essentially they're saying that she may have convinced herself that she did it when she really did it because she lost her memory. But morons like this seem to forget that the young lady hurled herself off of a second-story window, right, which also could have contributed to the memory loss, and that it was proven that no one else was in the home at the time. But you know, yay woman, let's muddy the waters to confuse the general public with conspiracy theories as much as possible. But wait, there's more.
Okay, check this out. It's really crazy.
Okay.
Lindsay Clancy's birth chart. It's so crazy. Now, I don't.
What? Leos don't kill, Geminis do? Oh, he's a Gemini. Jail for him. That's all I need to know. Well, God damn it, Shannon. You cracked the case. He's a Gemini. He's a guilty man. Choose the bear. Moon at 22 degrees. Kill or be killed degree. Olivia, God damn it, woman. Aquafinks. Oh, you already know it's going to be interesting with a name like that. The fact her trial is during Lionsgate. What? It means things are turning in her favor. Oh, she's a Leo. Oh, she's so loved those babies and very protective. For all you dudes out there that talk to these women about a circle, moon, star, square sign, Aquarius, moon leaf rising shit, talk to these women out as if that shit is serious, you're feeding their goddamn delusion. This is absurd.
I don't have the time of birth. So, really, you can disregard the ascendant, descendant, IC, MC, vertex, and all the houses. I need the birth time. So, like, not all of these aspects are necessarily...
Forensic astrology?
We don't really know. I just put it at noon. But, first of all, let me just show. Okay, so, notice anything here? She's got her North Node Aquarius, South Node Leo. She's in her Nodal return right now.
It's been a while, but I have to pop on here just to say that I've been following this Lindsay Clancy trial, especially as a mother of two who dealt with a lot of postpartum mental illness. And
this is horrific.
You know, just following all their birth charts and birthdays and zodiac signs. He did it. He did it. He did it. He's a Gemini man. His birthday is June 15th. I'm a Gemini woman. My birthday is June 14th. Let me give you another example of who a Gemini man is. Also birthday June 14th.
Who impregnated this woman?
Men and women are different. Keep that in mind.
By the way, this is why the Electoral College exists. Because her vote matters just as much as mine without the Electoral College.
Please don't judge me. Donald Trump. Patrick did it.
Case solved.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So if you're watching the Lindsay Clancy case, I've already gone over...
How do you take these
the
people
forensic
seriously?
astrology charts that show that the perpetrator is a male, the perpetrator is having an affair, and that the victims, specifically Lindsay, was drugged during this. And I've also gone over with the theory and the lie detection.
I'm telling you all right now, when the South Node goes into Cancer in March of 2028, the South Node is going to transit over Patrick Clancy's moon in Cancer. He's going to be having eclipses over his natal moon, which is home, family, emotions.
Dog, she's the one that's being diagnosed as psychosis, but we live and breathe next to women that are active daters in our society that are going through mass psychosis.
Emotional life. And then it gets better. 2029, all the way into 2030, he is going to have eclipses over his Gemini placements. The South Node is going to move over his Sun, his Mercury retrograde, his Venus retrograde. It's about to get real interesting in the next, 3 to 4 years for him. I'm grabbing my popcorn. I can't wait for this man to be humbled and for karma to do its thing.
All right, yeah. Now imagine losing your family, and this is the sentiment online. Holy moly. These nut jobs will step through whatever illogical loopholes that they can find to blame men. Meanwhile, I don't know if you guys know this, the #1 killer of children under the age of 1 are women. And I'm talking after birth, okay? Because we already know after conception, before birth, of course they are, right? Just by biology. But, let's not talk about that. Let's sweep that under the rug because, sugar, spice, and everything nice.
All right, he did it. Patrick did it. Patrick's the one who did it.
This is an actress.
Not Lindsay. Patrick did it because, I also heard that women typically don't strangle. So awful to even say, but that isn't what a woman would do. They don't strangle. I was actually in therapy today, and my therapist and I were talking about it, and I said, well, what do they do? She said, well, they poison, or I said, oh, or drown them.
This is
like, we literally had that conversation today. And she looks at me and she goes, he did it. I was like, wow, yeah. And now,
her therapist said that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the collagen from your lips has broken free and infiltrated your brain and is now clouding your damn judgment. She murdered 3 little blessings, and the therapist says he did it. Oh, talk about the most useless therapist on planet Earth.
So I keep seeing people talk about the Lindsay Clancy case, and a bunch of conservatives are asking themselves, like, how did we get here as a society where a huge number of women are defending Lindsay Clancy, who murdered 3 of her children by strangling them to death? Like, what is wrong with the women right now? And I'll tell you how we got here. It's because over 25% of women in America today have done exactly what Lindsay has done.
Oh.
They did the exact same thing. They murdered their children, right? They murdered their helpless, innocent children, all because they didn't want them. They were in the way. And so of course they empathize with her. Of course they're trying to cover up their own guilt for what they did by justifying what another woman did when she snuffed out her own children. It's the natural way that you try to cope with sin, right? If you have a problem with drinking, you surround yourself with other people who drink a lot. If you have a problem with cursing, you surround yourself with people who curse a lot. If you have a problem with murder, if you murdered your child and haven't repented for it, then you justify other people who murdered their children, and you all can sit around and ignore the feeling of being a monster. Damn. Because, well, we all did it, right? So it's not that bad. That's what's at play right now. That is what's happening, is we have a bunch of women who actually have murdered their own children, and so when they see another woman who murdered their own children, they empathize with her, they sympathize with her, and they justify it because, well, she had a reason, right? That's what's happening right now. And our nation desperately needs to repent of our child sacrifice, whether it's children in the womb or children outside of the womb. It's a problem, and it is definitely impacting society in serious ways that we've been ignoring for a long time. And now it's just become like so in our face that we can't ignore it anymore. And people are asking how we got here. Child sacrifice. That's how we got here.
Whoa, based take. No matter what, whether it be your political affiliation or if you're on the side of pro-life versus pro-choice, I think we can all agree that the pro-life side of this paints women as more victims than they are perpetrators. I think with 30 forms of birth control in a free world, you can take whatever precaution is necessary to not get pregnant. But acting as if these things just happen, and for that of a quarter of the population, there's a lot more perpetrators that inevitably have to make that decision than they even want to talk about.
Yep, she killed my kids. She's crazy. That's so sad. And then she jumped out the window and is a paraplegic now. It's weird that you got into a relationship 4 months later, though. What's weird about that? I don't know if my entire family was annihilated and my significant other was a paraplegic after jumping out of the window after doing that. I don't know if I would be dating.
I'm going to say this very slowly, so maybe even you can understand. Men don't owe women anything, especially women who murder their children. I love the intentional change of the language there, right? If my children were annihilated and my partner was paralyzed. I'm sorry, you mean if your children were murdered by the partner who then paralyzed herself after. Yeah. Is that what you're trying to say? I'm watching more of this trial. I'm realizing how much misinformation is out there. I mean, there's even a video going viral right now of women being like, see, when the officers came in, Patrick Clancy was just sitting sitting on the couch. I mean, what kind of innocent man would just sit on a couch? But then I actually watched the testimony, and that's not what the officer said. The officer said that he was screaming and crying that he couldn't save his children. He wasn't sitting down at all. They took a clip from a different part of the trial. They're doing this very intentionally because Patrick Clancy never called Lindsay crazy. In fact, Patrick Clancy seems to actually be on Lindsay's side, defending her in many instances, calling her a great mother. It's just unfortunate for him that he's finding out on the stand in real time while defending her that she's been lying to him about a bunch of stuff, seemingly embarrassing him even more. Ooh. Also, I can't say for certainty, but I'm pretty sure that Patrick moved on about a year later, in which even if it was 4 months later, I have to ask, who fucking cares? If a man murdered a mother's children, would you guys stand beside while women criticize her for moving on? Sorry, but if somebody murdered my children, I'm not wasting another thought on you. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, these are the same women that are getting angry when people try to remember and give sympathy to the children.
Now, great take, Via Roma. Now, what's interesting is that women will hear takes like this and take it to another level. Watch this new sick trend that I'm seeing popping up on TikTok.
I'm completely overwhelmed trying to take care of the kids. I'm drowning every day. I feel guilty that I'm spending my family's money and not making any. I feel like I spend way too much. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
I'm terrified of Callan getting sick.
Now you're hearing a testimony from the trial in the background, and this is a random cuckoo woman that is trying to normalize what is being said within the trial to her own experiences. So many of these women are admitting that they want to their children.
He's a sick baby. A sick baby is miserable. He's sick now with a double ear infection. Clearly has a bellyache. It's miserable. I feel like the other kids are going to get him sick all winter long. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
I always feel strongly against sleep training. I feel like it's abusive to let the baby cry and not respond. But I made the decision. I did it with Cal. It is way too much crying. It's incredibly stressful. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
He's okay. He will be okay. It's not harmful in any way. The doctor said it was okay. Plenty of people sleep train their kids at that age. It's necessary as a third child, is what she wrote, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I'm not going to play all 2 minutes of this video. Y'all get the idea. If you want to look it up on TikTok, it's #SameLindsay. Sympathy is not a two-way street. Sympathy seems to be relegated mostly for one gender. And the sympathy is so strong, shedding tears for a murderer. Now, I get it, she has psychosis, but these women will fail to share tears for the children that will never grow old. Defending somebody just because she is a woman with your contrived stories, utilizing your astrocartography, forensic science, whatever it is that y'all doing in order to justify this bullshit is actually sick. You will go through any stretch to make accountability disappear for you and your entire gender. Just because the accused looks like you. If this was a man, you would not go through anything of the sort of mental gymnastics that it takes for you to get here. Woo! Yo! This one was insane, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed my breakdown of this. Videos like this, you know, will more than likely get demonetized, but it's just, I can't believe in looking at this, and maybe so many people are staying away from this one from the male perspective because it does involve some heinous acts, you know, which typically from a long form perspective doesn't stay monetized. But I got to give y'all the real sometime. I got to step beyond the business component of this to really deep dive on what is happening out there. What is happening as a society? Because I guarantee you guys, although we're looking at this result for men within how you're dating, how they look at you, these false allegations, right? Like, you will never receive the empathy or the sympathy that they claim that they will give you for being open and honest, for talking about your issues and problems, for how hard that you work. Right? There's so many. We're not created equal, but they will act like we are, or they will act like we are equally treated in society. And that is fundamentally untrue. And I understand why some double standards exist. And I'm not advocating that it should be much different, but I am showing you the result of it going unchecked. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, leave something for me down in the comment box. This one is exhausting. I'm going to have to go take a cold shower after this one. Last but not least, check out my content system, how I do all of this at viraltovalue.com. Guys, make sure you go up on over there. Actually, looking at how crazy some of these people are, it reminds me in one of my lessons in how to deal with public criticism through comments or what have you. You got to just ignore people at the end of the day, because these people are the ones that could be writing down in your comment section. Meanwhile, they're nuttier than a squirrel fart. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Protect yourself at all times, and I'll see you soon. Peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR, he break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound with his MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.